When the process map started to roll, it got down to what happens when somebody finds additional opportunities at a job site outside the scope of work that they're there to do. And it was going nowhere. It came to a loggerhead, and everybody looked at each other and said, what do we do? There wasn't a process in place to capture those additional opportunities. Thus, we had to come up with the process, and that has created what we call the pull-through opportunities, in which we have found the advantage of having the ISRs.
I would have to say our customer base varies tremendously. From, at least in the territory I work with, we've got everything from 20 kW residential generators up in the hills to huge data centers that have 6 or 7 2 megs at each building. From customers that just need it for standby power in case something goes down, to data centers that have a 0 downtime mandatory operation.
There is the standard scope of work that we follow for any kind of quarterly inspection or an annual service, and there is a form they go through and they put down certain values for maybe how full the radiator is, what temperature the block heater is running at, whether or not certain hoses are looking okay. There's a very specific list that they go through and they check for potential issues.
We realized that the other additional opportunities, or our pull-through opportunities, had to be handled quickly. It's nothing that you could let sit for 30, 40, 60 days before you could get to it.
Well, what happens is the technicians out there doing a repair or doing a preventive maintenance service visit, they notice, okay, well, there's this issue going on here. They write it up in the additional notes in their service report. It comes back to our office. Our office staff, when they're going through and entering in the time for the job and how the job's going to be billed, and closing out the job to send the invoice to the customer, they see that there's this additional work. They create a lead for me in our CRM package, and they attach that service report to that lead, send it to me, and then once it shows up in my CRM screen in my dashboard, I can open that up and open up that service report and see what was written up, and at that point begin qualifying the lead with the customer and getting a better idea of what needs to be done.
What it brings to Peterson as a company is happier customers. Customers that want to work with us, customers that see that we're trying to be there for them.
What this means to the customer is that they're getting an extra level of coverage proactively. A few years ago, before this position was implemented, when you had those follow-up repairs, a lot of times they weren't getting done unless the customer was being proactive themselves and calling in and saying, hey, I need a quote for this, or I need this done. So there were a lot of things that weren't being done in terms of maintaining equipment health. Our competitors still aren't doing anything like this, and we see it. Whenever we take over a piece of equipment from a competitor, there tends to be a laundry list of items that need to be addressed because they're not addressing those items. So the benefit to the customer is absolutely equipment health. As an example, as a testament to the kind of improved equipment health that we've seen, our after-hours emergency callouts for both after-hours during the week and on the weekends for a generator not starting are down about 90% from 2 years ago. Now, if that's not an example for benefit to the customer, I don't know what is.
Our ISR program is absolutely a success. From a financial standpoint, $1.2 million in 2011 at a cost of about $150K. We've added 5 technicians in the last 6 months to handle the increased workload. We put more service trucks on the street to handle the increased workload. We've helped the dealership's bottom line even in a downturn economy with this additional work that we weren't capturing in 2008 and 2009. From a personnel standpoint, we're growing the next round of PSSRs that are going to be assets to the company, whether it's in power or tractor. Very rarely do you have the opportunity to do that. Not a lot of people are going to school to learn sales, to learn Caterpillar, to learn parts process, to learn SIS, to learn TMI, DBS, to get these guys in-house, get them trained, do it profitably with their hours that they're spent in the dealership, and then when other opportunities, whether in power or tractor, to go to an outside salesman, management, Six Sigma, what have you, they've got the time in to be a success. And that's the goal of any sales manager, is to make sure that their sales reps are successful.